It explains how companies organize their people and resources so they can work more efficiently and reach their goals. One of the biggest takeaways for me is that structure can really impact how well a company performs. One of the first things that this chapter talked about was divisional labor, which basically means taking work and breaking it down into smaller, more specialized tasks. For example, if you work at a company that makes cars, certain people will only be focused on engines, others on design, and others on marketing. Specialization can increase efficiency because people become very skilled at one task. But too much specialization can cause a job to feel repetitive. The chapter also talks about the hierarchy of authority, which is basically just a chain of command, or who reports to who, and this helps create order in the organization. It also talks about the span of control, which is how many employees report directly to one manager. A wider span means a manager oversees more people. A narrow span means fewer direct reports.
Let's start with organizational culture. This refers to the shared values, beliefs, and norms that shape how people behave within a company. Culture influences everything from how employees interact to how motivated they feel to how they approach their work. When an organization has a strong, well defined culture, it can boost teamwork, improve performance, and help everyone move in the same direction. Essentially, culture acts as the company's personality, guiding behavior even when the rules aren't explicitly stated.
Another important part of the chapter is the different types of structures. A functional structure groups employees off of departments like marketing, finance, or production. A divisional structure groups employees based off of products, customers, or locations. For example, a company might have separate divisions for different product lines. There's also a matrix structure where employees report to more than one manager. This can improve collaboration, but it can also create confusion.
Next, let's look at a centralization versus decentralization. In a centralized structure, most decisions flow from top management. This can work well when consistency or tight control is important. However, it may slow things down because decisions must move up the hierarchy. In a decentralized structure, decision making authority is pushed down to lower level managers or employees. This allows the organization to react faster and be more flexible, especially in rapid changing environments. The key idea here is that the structure affects how quickly decisions are made and how adaptable the company can be.
This chapter also explains the difference between mechanistic and organic structures. Mechanistic structures are more formal and centralized with clear rules and authority levels. Organic structures are more flexible and decentralized, which works better in fast changing industries.
Formalization refers to how much an organization relies on written rules, procedures, and standard guidelines. When formalization is high, employees follow clear procedures and expectations, which creates consistency and reduces uncertainty. This is helpful in industries when accuracy and uniformity are crucial. When formalization is low, employees have more freedom in how they complete tasks. This encourages creativity, flexibility, and allowing people to find new ways to solve problems. The right level of formalization depends on the company's goals and the type of work being done.
Organizational control is how managers make sure a company is performing the way it should and staying on track towards its goals. Managers begin by setting clear standards and expectations for performance, such as productivity targets, quality levels, or deadlines. They then measure how employees and teams are actually performing and compare those results to the standards they set. If something is not meeting expectations, managers take corrective action to fix the issue and improve performance. Control can happen at different stages, including before work begins through training and planning, during the work process through supervision, and after work is completed through performance reviews and evaluations. Overall, organizational control helps maintain efficiency, accountability, and consistency so the organization can achieve its objective and remain competitive. Organizational change happens when a company adjusts to new situations in its environment, such as advances in technology, increased competition, economic conditions, or changes in customer needs. Businesses cannot remain the same forever because the environment around them is constantly evolving. Some changes are small improvements to existing processes, systems, or products, while others involve major transformations such as restructuring the organization, changing leadership, or shifting the company's strategy. Change is necessary for long-term success because it allows companies to adapt, innovate, and stay relevant in their industry. However, change can also be challenging because it disrupts routines and requires people to learn new ways of doing things. Managers play a critical role by guiding the organization through the transition, communicating clearly, and helping employees understand the purpose and benefits of the change. Resistance to change occurs when employees feel uncertain, uncomfortable, or threatened by new situations in the workplace. People often resist change because they fear losing their job, losing control over their work, or being forced to step outside of their comfort zone. This resistance can slow down progress and make it harder for a company to implement new ideas or improvements. Employees may also resist change if they do not understand why it is happening or how it will affect them personally. Managers need to recognize these concerns and address them by communicating openly, involving employees in the decision making process, and providing training support during the transition. When resistance is handled effectively, employees are more likely to accept the change and work together to help the organization move forward successfully.
To wrap up, there's no single best organizational structure. The ideal structure depends on the company's goals, environment, strategy, and what kind of work it actually does. Managers need to design structures that support what the organization is trying to achieve, whether that means empowering employees, staying flexible, increasing coordination, or maintaining high levels of control. Ultimately, the structure should help the company operate effectively and stay aligned with its overall mission.